Welcome to a new episode of the Bhandwagon podcast. And today, my guest is, I think, is one that doesn't necessarily jump in front of a camera to give an opinion, but is normally behind it and directing and more of a strategic guy. Mr. Tony Shergill from Brit Asia TV.
Thank you, Ricky. Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be on here.
Thanks, Tony. This is a little bit more formal than what we normally get together. How do you find being in front of the camera this time?
You're 100% right, mate. There's two kinds of people in this world. There's kings and kingmakers. I'm always the kingmaker, really. I've always been that kind of position. I've never really wanted that forefront position, but yeah, I'm not used to it, but it's all good.
So in terms of kind of like your experience and working in this field, I think one of the easiest ways to kind of start this is that you come from a very multi-talented family, with hard work and just general drive is there. Can you just tell us what impact that had in terms of like you getting to where you are now, like sitting in that seat?
Look, I think hard work and being in the right position at the right time, or has some kind of indication. But you're right. Coming from a very giving and community-led family, because we're very community-led. If you phone me at 2:00 and you were in a situation and you were stuck somewhere, we're the probably I'm the kind of guy I'll come out and try and help you out wherever I can. And similar to that, I remember when I grew up. People would knock on my dad's door at 1:00 because of his position being president at the time.
Smedic Gurdwara, that's right. Yes, Smedic Birmingham. Yeah,
Smedic Gurdwara in Birmingham. One of the first Gurdwara in the UK. People knock on my door 1:00 in the morning, or knock at any time. Something's happened in their family. Something's happened, with their daughter, or it doesn't matter what it was. And I saw that as we were growing up, that look, we have to be there when anyone calls on us, or if anyone needs any support, we should be there. So that kind of influence and that kind of givingness comes from like my father, my mom, and that upbringing, because we were all, if you said to me, where did you spend your childhood? Probably at the Gurdwara. We were at the Gurdwara serving langar, doing camps, doing seva. Why? Because that's where 20 odd years my father was president, and guess what? We were going to actually be at the Gurdwara. So that bhavana and a little bit of humbleness and the importance of doing seva, and a bit of structure, a bit of being smart, a little bit of being in the right place, all coming together probably gets you in a position like this. I would assume.
But your particular interest into kind of media, because Brit Asia isn't the first media channel that you've been involved in. Why was what was the attraction of going down that line of work?
Look, it's a good question, because my I've launched all the Sikh channels that are on Sky today, and that was my passion. If I'm honest with you, that was my my hunger, and that's what I wanted to do. And I'm glad that God gave me that seva to deliver that. I'm glad I was blessed to get that done. I very rarely ever go out and say, I was the guy behind it and all the rest of it. But, because I class it as a seva. It was a seva that was given to me. People around the world who can't go to the Gurdwara or have got no connection with, their religion, at least they can now watch it on, on platforms, on TV and so on and so on. But look, if I flip that and I say the audience at Brit Asia TV, they're actually from different communities. They're from Hindu community, Sikh community, Muslim community, Gujarati community, Sri Lankan community. They're from different communities. And if you the easiest concept I could probably give you, the most simplest concept I could give you is, if you look at our Gurbani, and it's a universal message of the world. And you have so many Peers, Bani, and the Guru Andi Bani, Bhagdandi Bani, and collectively, if you look at it, it's a universal message. So, with Brit Asia, the Punjabi element, the Punjabi music, doesn't just belong to the Sikh community; it belongs to the Punjabi people, doesn't it? So it's a culture. So the channel here at Brit Asia, it's Punjabi led with a different angle of universal, because in today's life, unfortunately, Ricky, the universal message today, the universal message of the world is music. Then it comes down to sports. Religions are probably a little bit down there because where in the other eras it was religion and we had to believe in other stuff. But I asked myself the same question. You asked me a good question there. I asked myself the same question: how come I'm sitting at Brit Asia? And I think I'm sitting here based on to keep that cultural element alive, because the reality is this: if you don't know Punjabi, you can't read Gurbani. If you don't know your Painti Akkar, you're going to lose your heritage. You're going to lose the Maboli. Now, the problem we have is we live in an era, we stopped writing Punjabi. So when you say, oh, why don't you do A-levels Punjabi when you do this? We don't write letters. We don't write anything, and that print media has disappeared. Now what we do is we get the Punjabi alphabet keyboard, we download that, and that's it. And it's easier to write on there. When you look at, young kids now from the age of 10 to, let's say, up to 16, they don't know about Punjabis. They know about grime artists. They know about mainstream kids. And what are they watching? Sometimes I go to my nephew's house, and he's watching a game or play a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The street. Yeah. I got that. That's in my household as well.
Yeah. And when I ask these guys, have you heard of any singers? The good thing now is that they say, yeah, we've heard of AP Dylan, which we're doing the tour. Yeah, have you heard of Sidhu? Yeah, we've heard of Sidhu. He's done something with Mist and Steph London. Again, we've kind of made that Punjabi element a bit cool again to attract that age group. Because, people, is it important for them to keep the heritage? Absolutely. But guess what? If you haven't got time and you're busy into your day-to-day life and going to work and doing that, when are you going to have time to teach them Punjabi? They might go to the Punjabi school every Saturday, but it's only for an hour and a half. Their attention span's not going to be there unless they've got some love or pyar towards Punjabi and Punjab. Look, we're born here, innit? We're Jampal here, innit?
Yeah.
We're British Sikhs, really. That's what we are. Yeah. And we have love for Punjab. We're proud to be Punjabi as well. Yeah. And we're keeping that Punjabi kind of elements, alive. But you have online platforms, which I feel are probably a lot more dangerous for when it comes to these younger kids, because for mental health reasons, for addiction, for watching the wrong stuff, and so on and so on. The good old days where you and me would just put TV on, we turn it off and we go to sleep. It's fine, and it's done.
Yeah,
what we're gonna get. It's job done. In the car, you're gonna listen to the radio. Guess what? You jumped out the car, it's done. Yeah. You're gonna read your paper on a Sunday or whatever you're gonna do. You're ready. You put it down. It's done. The problem now is it's called direct marketing. Our phones are direct marketing tools, and we just scroll, and we're all victims of it. Brit Asia's got a massive online presence. We've got a TV presence. We're there. We're all part of it. But sometimes I do think it'd be good to maybe focus on key elements just to get kids to even just be proud to be Punjabi or start speaking some kind of Punjabi.
From what you've just said, it feels like that you've got taken in. I'll ask another question a little bit down the line, but while we're onto it, you started off with the Sikh channels. You've gone into kind of Brit Asia, but I'm getting the feeling from yourself that you've got a battle of trying to promote the Punjabi heritage, also accommodate the modern day needs, and you're trying to put it all together. Would that be fair to say that sometimes it is a struggle to find that right balance of where you lean onto it? Because you could argue sometimes that when you watch, let's say, Brit Asia, there's a lot of non-Punjabi music on there. Is that a way of trying to capture that younger market into exposure to something else, or is there another kind of methodology behind it?
Well, look. The best example I could give you is the greatest ruler of the world, and the historians have stated it, not me, was Maharaja Ranjit Singh. And if you look at his element, he was the last ruler of the Sikh Empire in India. So the last ruler before the British took over was Maharaja Ranjit Singh. And he ran, yes, it was a Sikh empire, but he ran it as a Punjabi state. And what he said is, if you practice Hinduism, you carry on remaining practicing. If you practice whatever religion you belong in, you know, if it's Sikhism, Christianity, whatever it is, you practice that. But we are Punjabis, and the culture is very important. So if you look at Harmandir Sahib, there used to be bunge, and what are bunge like institutions. So you had an institution that was for poetry, you had an institution for music, you had an institution for archery, you had we had different institutions. So if you look at how important the culture aspect was, and you know, Maharaja Ranjit Singh, if he had done anything wrong, or he had, you know, in the history, let's not touch on it, but if he had made a mistake, he was called to Harmandir Sahib and he put his head down and said, I'm sorry, tell me what you want me to do. Yeah. But at the same time, he still ruled India that era, and you know, all the way up until Afghanistan, and all the way up till you know, Rajasthan, and all the way down to Delhi. So you know, it was a big empire. So I think if you look at that aspect, it's not as if it's never happened and we're trying to balance something. I'm not saying we're trying to rule something or we're trying to take over something. I'm saying we're trying to use some small examples.
The philosophy.
Exactly.
So like, as we're talking the philosophy, how do you find to convey that message to when you're trying to speak to artists, or you're trying to speak to stakeholders or sponsors, to say like, this is the vision and this is what stage I am in the vision? Is it easy for them to buy in?
See, some artists get it. Some artists have changed their dynamics, and if you and the best example of that is the Kisan Morcha. If you look at it, the amount of artists that jumped on everything, and you've got to agree with this. You know, it was the majority of the Kalakar from Punjab. It was a majority of them that basically pushed that agenda forward and said it's so important. We then, you know, we picked it up quite heavily over COVID. You know, it got a lot of traction. It got a lot of, you know, kind of PR and media out there. You know, and I think a lot of artists now are feeling how important it is to talk about justice, how important it is within their music, because the music is so powerful and reaches out to millions. So via the music, via the platforms, via us, it's actually, they understand, let's give a deeper message. Yes, we could carry on doing the nice songs, the love songs and everything else.
The gun songs.
Yeah, you know, all that, but the Mashi look or whatever, because again, but I think there's still an importance. I think Sidhu once said, he said about, you know, somebody asked him a question about, you know, you've got guns in your video, you've got guns this, and you're showing this, but he says, I've never once really gone out and shot, you know, I haven't shot anyone, you know, haven't gone out there, or there's no case against me that I've done something wrong. You know, yes, because what it is, you've got to understand, let's strip it back. Where does Bhangra originate from? It originates from the UK. It was classical Tumbi traditional sound that came from Punjab, mixed with UK music, and you could say it's UB40 or whatever drums and sounds mixed together, and Bhangra is a UK product. Okay. Now at that time, you know, you've got Kang, Apna Sangeet, Hira Group, you know, Bachangi. You've got all the old school classics, Sahotas, different sound altogether. Yeah, you know, you've got some really, really good, you know, Bhuta Jagpa Bali, and then these guys, you know, great concept in our era at that time. If you look at that sound you and me connected to, because there was a little bit of other sound, mainstream sound mixed into it.
Yeah.
With our Punjabi heritage. Now, all that's happened here now is you've got the hip hop, which we obviously grew up to as well. You've got the hip hop sound being used, which hip hop is all about a little bit more, you know, gangster with Mashi type. And you've got that music mixed with the Punjabi. So the flavors changed to what's actually hot now. There was an era we used to listen to, we just used to listen to remixes. There was an era where we used to go and there used to be a band at weddings all the time. There's an era now, there's just DJs. There's an era now where an act will come on for 20 minutes. And that's the key element. You know, so times are changing. I think music and everything else is changing with the times.
Yeah, I just think it's almost where with artists it's art imitating life, or the other way around, and sometimes the messages get confused in terms of what are people trying to promote. I think what you were saying, especially with the Kisan movement, is that people are utilized their platforms not only just for the music element is for social justice, for a cause, and to go for it, and people being held accountable as well, by people. It's very hard for you to put something out now, get that credibility from the audience if you haven't supported the Kisan movement.
And look, Ricky, the other thing is, I think, look, Sikhs around the world are showcased very positive. We feed millions of people a day. We do, the people like Ravi Khalsa, you've got the guys, Midland Langar Seva, you've got all these guys, SWAT, SWAT, I think they're London guys.
Yeah.
They're all doing good work. They're all feeding. And what are they representing? When somebody sees them, so when Gode see them, when other communities see them, they see Sikhs. You know what? These guys are good people. We're givers. We are actually defenders of the faith. If you look at Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, he gave his faith for a different community and a different religion. If you look at today's Diwali, Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji gave, released the 42, was it 52 Raja, the Hindu Raja that were prisoned. Again, that Bandi Jose Divas is why we celebrate it. And it was based on that fact that we were defenders of another faith. We didn't bring out some Sikh leaders or the people that were in jail at that time. It was based on the Raja that was brought out. So if you just look at our history, we're there to support. But the unfortunate thing is, we always, there's always an underline where Sikhs, they will try and maybe show a bad light on the community. And I'm always about positivity. I'm always about, it's an equal platform, and this platform's for everyone, not just the Sikh community. It's for the Punjabi community at whole, but it's also it's an even playing field. We see everyone with one eye, and I think that concept's so important. Even at the battlefields, when you look at some of the concepts where Baikenea was giving out water to the enemy at that time, but we're still giving them water. Our history, we are great givers, and we're massive givers. And it all comes back to that same conversation where I started it. My family taught us to be givers as well, support and be that concept.
Mm-hmm. I just want to go back in terms of, when you got into this whole kind of the media side of it, how does one start a TV channel?
It's a good question, because you know what, it was, it's difficult. I even get asked today, please set us up a TV channel. I'm like, listen, are you sure? Are you sure you want a TV channel? Because, it's so expensive to run. Look, it was a little bit difficult because at the time, in all fairness, I was looking to launch a tabloid, and then I met Devinder, who I basically he was running a channel called Legal TV at the time, and we kind of got our heads together and we looked at a concept. And I think Brit Asia had already launched then, and they had Brit Asia at the time. We were in the same studios, and there was a few names that got bantered around Punjabi world and Sikh world and this and that, and then we just came up with the concept Sikh Channel. So the channel and the infrastructure was there. I kind of learned that concept, if I'm honest with you. And then what happened was, because I was connected and within, I had very strong links within the Sikh community because of my family background, I was able to really very quickly bring the community on board and start. It was quite easy, to be honest, Ricky. It was quite easy to get that platform set up. I think the previous owners were looking. They were actually in TV and media, and they were the ones who kind of had that co-investment. Brit Asia was very new from memory. Yeah, it was very, very new. Or I think Sikh Channel was. Yeah, that's right. I think Brit Asia was on before Sikh Channel, and then we came out after, about a year after.
Yeah, I remember it being close, because at some of the beginning parts of Brit Asia, I did little bits on Brit Asia where Apache did his stuff, doing his real talk, and there was some other football show pilots and things that were going on. And I always remember being into the same studios.
Well, I remember just putting it on the TV and thinking, "Oh my God, this is amazing!" The Punjabi community, Bhangra, wow, we've got our own channel. It was amazing for when I remember in 2009 or probably 8, and I looked at it and I thought, wow, this is cool, this is great, and it was good. It's just that we get busy and we just put it on just to see what's new and what's the new songs and so on, which is great. And and I think it's just kept that history going. But to start a channel, look, it was hard. I think that 1 year of setting Sikh Channel up was like running 100 Gurdwara in one. Yeah. And it was just a massive,
but that's a good point that you're raising there. How did you get the buy-in from a lot of the Gurdwara at the time? Because anything new concept is almost like shunned away. No, let's leave it. How did you get that?
It was easy because I said, and I sold the fact that this is the first channel in the world for the Sikh community. And look, I'll tell you some things that I probably haven't told anyone. I remember we had to reach out to by Daljit Singh, and Ranjit Singh, and I phoned Ruben Singh up at that time, and I said, Ruben, look, we've just launched this channel, and it's for the Sikh community, it's for the Chardhi Kala. I was very passionate, very very energized over it, and he said, look, no problem. Ranjit Singh staying at my house. Why don't you come here? What do you want? I said, look, how about he just tells people to do direct debits? And it was just things, because look, we at that time we were learning. We didn't know what was right, we didn't know what was wrong, we didn't know which way to do it, what not to do. So we were learning as we were going along, and we were trying to stay professional at the same time, and had to make sure no one's saying nothing wrong on the binding. And I thought, well, look, this is a guy who knows what he's preaching. Then let's just go to him. And then he basically done an appeal, and I remember it so well. The phones just went off the hook, and we couldn't find people to take the calls, and people just came, and it was a great feeling. And then I think we asked Bindopal Singh and so many other Katavajiks, to be fair.
But do you feel, okay, here's the question. Do you feel like that also could be taking advantage of some of the elderly there, to like, the more money I give, the more chance, I'm connected with God and all of this kind of, for the direct debits? Because I know from a business point of view, you need the money to sustain the channel. But then from the other side, from a donation point of view, how did you balance that? Because it is dancing on a line.
It's true, and hence why I kind of moved on, for after setting all of them, because my only agenda was to make sure the Barney reaches around the world. So that was my concept. I never really looked at what happened on the finances. I was more creative. Let's get it out. Let's bring the people in. Let's make sure everyone's doing the right thing. It's a good question, and to keep that balance. Sometimes I think I'm going to be diplomatic with this question, Ricky. Sometimes people remember the captain who sailed the ship and not the owner of the ship, and I think they remember where that journey went and what they learned and what they created. So I think
okay. All right. So those who are listening in, you could always send him an email for more information. So like, it's actually a good anchor. Forgive the pun. You came at a time at Brit Asia where I felt it was almost transition, where it could have dropped off. It was, for me, it was becoming a little bit stale, the way that it was kind of presented. It was very formulaic, and it was just the same stuff. People got it was like a bad habit. What was the challenge of like your first day of when you came into British? Because I remember having a conversation when you first came in, and it was a really good conversation that we had. I still remember it. What were some of the challenges that you had at that point?
Look, there was a stigma attached to the channel. No disrespect to the previous owners. They have no involvement in it now, but they might have ran certain things differently. They might have upset certain artists. They might have upset, different kind of, venues and so on and so on. So my biggest task for that year and a half was just to clean up any kind of transitions. And if you remember, rebranded, make sure the logo's more professional and more, fits our corporate identity. So it's very more on that level. So everything I had learned from the other channels, I thought, actually, here's a concept that is a commercial channel and actually represents a lot more different communities. Let's try and drive this. The barriers I faced was there was a lot of people that were upset. There was a lot of people that didn't get the opportunity that they deserved, and so on and so on. So a lot of my time in that first year, Ricky, was to basically clean up and you know, build the bridges, which I did. I went to India. I met a lot of the artists. I personally met some of the artists in the UK, and I knew some of them anyway, so that was quite easy. You know, and let's be honest, when I think the channel, when I brought it, was on like 100,000 views a month. You know, we're now touching 1.1 million a month. So absolutely, it's been hard work, sweat, you know, a lot of investment, a lot of money, you know, that's been put into it over 4 years now. You know, it's been a long time since 2017 we took over in May. So, you know, it's been hard, but it's been enjoyable at the same time. You know, we've been involved in, you know, creating introductions to some of the big songs, like, you know, 47, and, you know, Wembley was a great history making point for us. You know, we've done some Punjabi Film Awards, which didn't exist before, and you know, they're going from strength to strength. We've now got the official chart show, which again the Punjabi community didn't have, but now we have the official chart show, which is done by the official charts company. You know, again, everything's a bit more authenticated and a bit more, you know, there's a certified, I suppose, where before was, let's just hope and let's just do what we can and let's just get what we can out. You know, and I think having these kind of assets and having these kind of, you know, deliverables, people take you a lot more serious.
Yeah, I mean, I think that professionalism definitely came out, because I remember when we spoke early on, you were saying that, oh, Rick, I'm going to be here 2 years, 3 years max, and that's it. Then I'm going to go. I'm just going to clean it up and then I'm going to go. What made you stay?
What it is, I think, actually, I realized there's a lot more. TV is just a platform, and social media is a platform. There's a lot more we could actually do with Brit Asia. You know, since then, I've launched an academy here. I've launched a fund. You know, we've launched our online radio. We've launched, you know,
podcast.
Podcast. We've done the podcast as well. We're looking to go down now the film route. So I think there's a little bit more that we could just keep adding on to the asset and to the brand, just to grow it a little bit more. And also COVID really, it kind of delayed a lot of things we were going to do. So hence why we got pushed back a little bit, but which is fine. You know, within the COVID, there was only a handful of businesses that kind of survived. Online media survived. TV survived because you're at home and you got nothing else to do. Delivery services, food services, you know, e-commerce. These were the, you know, the world came to its knees and was shut down. There was only a handful of businesses that still remained, you know, and that gave me a bit of an eye opener, if I'm honest with you. I realized.
How did you sustain that? Because at the time, the artists were difficult. Because I remember, you know, speaking to a few at the time, they were like, "We can't do this video because we can't get it shot. We can't go into a studio to finish off this, that, and the other." You know, you're at a really sticky point. If the artists are not giving you content, how difficult was it for you to kind of, you know, you're running a fine line then, isn't it? Like, you might be at a risk of not having enough content to put on the TV. I know you could just put the same songs on again, but you've made a conscious decision by going into different TV programs and so on. But there was no end date for when that was going to look like.
Yeah, I think we got a little bit lucky because a lot of content that people had sat on and hadn't released, we got that overflow, which was good, and their plans changed because they were sitting on banking on us, so that helped us push forward. Then, if you remember, we were the only channel in the UK. We went live with a lot of artists on our Instagram, so we used the online platform
fundraising.
Not fundraising, to keep dialogue. And
right, okay, I'll get you what you mean. With Raj doing the interview. Yeah, I got you.
Raj started, so I said, Raj, why don't we just start doing Instagram lives? Let's line everyone up. Let's just keep that energy. Let's keep positivity. Let's just see what's happening with people. Let others share their story. let's see what else is out there. What else, what else can we share? And I think that was a very good pinnacle point for us, because at least it showed that we cared, we were doing something, we were positive, we were out there, and we then used some of that interviews to go out on TV. We then, we kind of played the game really smartly. We used some of the content that we had for the awards to put them out. So yeah, I mean, look, people are at home, so they had, they needed to watch something. Either they had binge watched too much and they were bored of one thing, and then they said, let's just keep the music on in the background and let's just put Brit Asia on. So I think it was good for us in that element. We survived it.
You were talking about content, and I want to go into that in terms of like the quality of content that you get submitted to you. How do you make the decisions of saying we're going to play this and we're not going to play that?
Well, look, we've got a kind of a QS concept where what I realized when I took over from the previous owners, they were playing a lot of content that actually I felt shouldn't be on the channels. And when I looked at it, I thought, well, hold on, people are not watching the channel because the songs possibly shouldn't be on the channel. It kind of made on a business strategy and a gameplay here. I thought, hold on, that makes sense to me. Yeah, when I was doing my troubleshooting and doing my heat analysis and looking at the whole concept, and I said, well, hold on, why ain't you not playing some of the major, key songs? So if you look at the channel now, you'll see it's just songs that should be on there. So I built relationships with labels and artists that actually deserve to be on the platform. Okay. And then that basically increased viewership because it's now enjoyable and a nice watch. And some of the songs that, like you said, how do you look at I always look at my chart show, and I always look at what streaming numbers, and I also look at, what footprint do they have? And I also look at what else are they going to invest in? Are these guys just turning up and saying it's a one-hit wonder and I just want it on there? I'm probably not interested. If you come back and say, I'm with got a major investor, I've got a label, I'm looking to do, my EP, I've got 6, 7, 8 singles, please advise us. This is what I've done. Here's my strategy. This is, I'm a UK talent. This is my support. I'll probably go out my way and say, okay, no problem. There's a space for that. And there's a half an hour segment or an hour segment on the channel that I'm happy to create if you're showing that you're going to put that support in there and you're actually, you've invested money and you've gone that full way to just show the UK music in. Because Ricky, can that person compete with a Daljit? I don't think so. That's the reality. So if you're not going to compete with your top fives, your top tens, you've got to give them a base and you've got to give them something. But it's difficult to give somebody who's just made the song and hopes for the best because he's used a producer that we know. That ain't really for Brit Asia. It's, are you going to invest? Do you really want to be a singer, or do you just want to be seen on the channel? There's a massive difference. And I think that's what we started basing everything on now.
Do you feel a personal kind of investment of pushing the UK artists more than some of the kind of the Punjab based or Canada based ones?
I mean, look, we're a UK entity in it. We're Brit Asia. If we're flying the flag around the world, we're flying it for the British Asians. And the thing is, everyone's got a link into UK, and UK is still seen as a very strong kind of sits on its own. When you speak to Punjab artists, they make music for Punjab, Canada, and Australia. They don't know about UK because half of them songs, only a few of them work in the UK. And they don't understand why and what's the concept, because we're very, used to music in a different manner. We're very used to understanding music in a different class of a sound as well. We're 4th, 5th generation here in this country. Yeah, we know if something's, if we like something and it's worth it, we'll know, actually that, we love that song and we'll play it. I just think it's there is a responsibility. It's not just my responsibility. It's probably, the mainstream channel who we pay taxpayers money to. It's probably their responsibility at the same time. We have to revive. I can't think of anyone who's been except for Zayn Malik, Jay Sean, Steel Bangles. These guys, they've done it, but they've done it on their own footing as well. At the same time, if we push them into supporting Punjabi artists and doing this, that's because they want to, because they have that feel and that passion towards it, and they feel they want to support that industry. If you look at now Bollywood, they're very forward on looking at Punjabi music and Punjabi actors, because they see that this community is very rich and this community is very loving, and they have the appetite and the hunger and the capacity for this kind of music. Hence why it's doing so well. So UK, I would love to see more talent. I'm looking to maybe even create another show to support and find some new talent, because now a lot of people are willing to work with different elements. But Ricky, let me tell you one thing. 2019, 2020, before the pandemic, if you look at some of the biggest songs, True School did Daljit's album. He's a UK guy. V did Gurus, UK guy. You've got to remember, you can't say, Punjab's popping off or Canada's popping off. It's still that it's not based on folk music or the instrumental music. It's based on UK producers giving a different flavor. The only guy I would give it to is probably AP Dylan, but then again, Manny Sandhu. Great producer, great song. Again, it's a different vibe. We've got to remember, UK has still so much connection with some of the biggest songs that happen in the world when it comes to Punjabis. We're still involved. We're still linked somewhere. 47, come on. Steel Bangles, Steph London Mist, Sidhu Moosewala. That song, it crossed over to so many different people, so many different communities. People are reacting on it, reactions and all the rest of it. I would say the only guy who you got to give it to a little bit, who probably hasn't hit on that, is probably Mickey Singh. He's done a little bit of on his own style, own producers, Gerd Sidhu, Gur Sidhu, these kind of guys now. You've got some great producers. You coming up as well. The kids doing some great work. Snappy, these guys. Again, G-Funk. Frenzy's got some good stuff. AJD's, everyone's trying. It's all good. It's good. It's positive out there. It's just nice to see. Let's just keep that UK alive, I suppose. And I do feel sometimes, it does fall on our shoulders.
So I mean, I agree with virtually everything you said there. I do think that the UK scene is coming back with vengeance and stuff. I say all the time, but I feel sometimes that I am not that market anymore, that producers are making music anymore. I think my time's gone, because I like a particular style. Because if you look at the youngsters, what they're listening to now, virtually, that style of music, it's not necessarily my cup of tea, but I understand it. I get it. How do you then also know that youngsters are potentially just looking at views and fake views and all of this kind of stuff, and you're seeing the legit numbers on in the official chart? How do you kind of balance out? Because even those could be manipulated from views that you're saying, this song is shit. How am I playing this song? And I know those views are fake because no one's heard it.
Yeah, I mean, look, your songs like Mexico, Granojula, some of Sidhu's big ones, they will always be up there. Daljit's, and the APs, they'll be there. And you're right, when you flip it to some, and you look at some artist, maybe in India, and you think, hold on, 60 million views. But when I look at, but don't forget, our charts are just based on UK streams and UK listenership. But I think, hold on, if you've still got your 60, 70 million views, you would have entered the charts, or surely you would have come somewhere. And I don't just get the top 20. I also get, the ones who have just fallen short, maybe 20, the last 5. And they're still not there. So then you think, well, what? what is going wrong, or why are they doing it? What is it they're going to get out of that? Is it they're going to get more shows? That kind of makes sense then. Is it that they're going to get something else, or they're going to get collaborations? Maybe, because it still puzzles me slightly that, you see 180 million and all these big numbers, and then you think, well, hold on the streaming platforms, you're not there.
But is that a personal decision that you make from filtering that information, or do you collectively, like, there's 2 or 3 of you at Brit Asia where you say, look, come on, like, is it just me who's thinking that, or is it?
No. There's a team in it. There's about 3 people. I don't get involved in it, but again, there's going to be some songs that actually should be on there, and it doesn't matter about their
views.
It doesn't matter about their views. They'll still get on there because they've done something different. The sound is totally different. The video is shot totally different. They've done. Give you example, Jagga with Naseeb. We've done Stacks. He's done, again, makes sense. It's a different vibe. It's a different look. It's a different drill music that they've used. Something different. Would the old people have put that on? I don't think so. But we've put it on because we know there's an audience for it. We know there's a young audience. Your school, college kids like that vibe. You've got in Kanye there. It's a Naseeb and Brown Boys and Sultan and all this kind of crew. Johnny Rattan and all these guys. They're all trying to create a different vibe. We've got a different vibe here. India's got a different vibe. I just think, Ricky, honestly, it's positive. As much as they keep producing, it's great for the industry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We are the industry people. We're not promoters.
Yeah.
We're not here to do anything. We're here to support the industry. We're a platform to say, keep producing. If we could support you, let's do it. If we could support you at our events and you turn up there, beautiful, no problem. If we could give you a different platform, we're here to help you.
So there's space for everybody as well, isn't it? Do you feel that some of the stuff that you just said now kind of make why you are so different to like the BBC as well? Because you're probably less filtered, that you actually get a more kind of intelligence, that you actually get the more of a vibe, what's going on because you're more in touch with the artist? Or do you feel that, because sometimes when you look to the BBC, I really struggle to kind of relate to some of the music that they put on. I don't think they showcase Bhangra as much as I would just have like full dedicated kind of stuff, but that's just me. Do you feel that? Or
look, I think look, it's a good point. I think you're 100% right. We've got a direct relationship with them, with all the artists, and they understand actually, Brit Asia is a platform that promotes them without them even asking for it. We promote them 365 days of the year. Year in and year out, we're promoting on social media, on TV, on platforms, and so on and so on. They see that we do it without even them having to ask or send us an email or do this or do that, and we're doing it genuinely. So when there's a genuinity that people get to see, they automatically attract to you and they automatically understand the brand. Yeah. I'm building a brand here, by the way, Ricky, and you don't see, oh, this is Tony Shergill and he needs to be there. No, I'm building a brand because I want people to attach to a brand. It's a movement. And when you see that movement, look, you got Raf Safira, young kid from the UK, probably, very up and coming, star, and we've given him opportunities and we're supporting him. It'd be nice for others to support young artists like him. I think it's important. You've got Prince, young kid, very vibrant, a lot of energy. Again, coming through. It'd be great for other platforms to support him. There's enough talent here that actually we should be supporting, and sometimes we don't. And the question is why. You've got Izu, young kid, doing well. Great management team behind him.
But I'll give you an example. If there was like a big an audience with like the BBC One or whatever they've done, and they put an artist from abroad because based on their views ahead of some of that the UK talent that you said from it, isn't that just kind of the personifying the actual problem of that connection with people? Like, we can say it's quite easy that these guys should have the platform, but apart from Brit Asia, BBC and maybe one or two others, like the London stations. That's about it, isn't it? I think the pressure comes down to like their reliance on their own social media platforms to kind of build that up, get it to there. And that's why people go to those numbers, because they're seeing if you got high numbers, you get rewards, you get these collaborations, you get all of this. But when you try and when you're on a gig and you've got to kind of, you can't sell the gig out on your own, or you need to have other people there and they're doing the same as you, and no one turns up to the gig. You know, for confidence wise in for any artist, that's going to take a big knock, isn't it? If you're a channel and you're investing huge money into those kind of people as well, that's a financial risk on yourself. That affects your longevity, your future forecasting, and what direction you want to take your channel as well, isn't it?
Yeah, no, you're right, Ricky. And I think what it is, it's a balance. You got to find a balance on how you do things. So, you know, you'll never see me promote one artist over the other. We'll be balanced. And look, sometimes I will play different kind of music, like, you know, sometimes a Hindi music from a film scene or something else, or maybe a mainstream song because I'm helping an artist in the UK. You know, might put, you know, Selena Sharma, Rika, you know, Joe, you know, again, some of these artists out there, like Riddy and all these other kids that we start with. But then I just think I don't want to lose the identity. You know what I mean? I don't want to lose the identity. I think there's a space for everything in there. We've got an identity. I don't know what other platforms' identity is, and I think that's what they need to find out. I'm assuming, you know, and I think that's where it gets a bit hard.
Coming across in this kind of discussion, you know, you could obviously see your passion and your enthusiasm. How long do you reckon that you see yourself here, and what's the future for like Brit Asia look like?
So look, you know, it's a good question. I think until I don't see somebody who could take this channel to the next level, you know, we'll still be here. I think until I don't find that, you know, new challenges, new strategies, we'll still be sitting here. I think Brit Asia's still got a lot to give. Don't forget, if industries change and if dynamics change, we'll keep changing with the flow. So if we have to launch on Amazon, we'll go and launch on Amazon. But I think we have to now look at a lot of creating a few more TV shows, try and build a little bit of, you know, it is solely music, but now we're going to look at changing the look of the channel a little bit more. Now we've got that kind of viewership and strong viewership back, and now we'll start slowly injecting other kind of shows in there, which you know, which the chart shows on something different. We'll now bring other shows similar to that. And then I think, yeah, you know, a big group might be interested in this, and it could be, I don't know, they could already have a cluster of TV channels. But again, does the brand and the identity meet with it? Because what we don't want to do is we've worked hard. You know, this channel's been on air for over 14 years. It's a household name in the UK and around the world. What you don't want to do, and it'd be wrong of me just to hand it over to somebody who just comes with, you know, who's got big bank account. That shouldn't be it. It should be somebody who's going to now take it to different heights, different level. You know, there's a lot of strings that you can still do with TV, and there's a lot of other stuff that's still missing. So you don't try and do everything. You always leave, you know, something back. So, you know, who knows? Maybe another few years, and then we'll see.
So this podcast is the Bandwagon podcast. So to play on the name of the Bandwagon, is there this is a chance where I give the kind of person who I'm having the conversation with something that a bandwagon that they want to jump on, or is it a bandwagon that they want to jump off, or just generally anything that they want to kind of get off their chest?
Look, the biggest thing I want to get off my chest is I think we have to work collectively together, and we have to collaborate more. And I think the more we work together, not just, you know, as industries, the better we'll be able to think about the music, think about the people it's going to influence, think about what's going to happen and where that's going to go. And I think, you know, working collectively together is a key element in our industry. If you get people trying to work against you and think they could do something great, have a go, you'll just end up losing money or whatever. But why can't we just work together? Why can't we just come together under one platform or under one collective thought process, and let's try and do things together. I think that's the biggest thing. I've got issues within this industry. I've been in 4 years. Everybody wants to do something, but why can't we do it together? Why can't we work together?
Does that come out of kind of greed, or to just outdo each other simply?
I think it's ego, isn't it? I think ego plays a massive issue, and you know what?
How do you manage it? I was just, you just said something crazy, like you see all those pictures behind you, all those awards, all those great artists and stuff. Yeah, thanks for that. Now, lovely.
Yeah.
How do you manage egos?
I think I treat them as individuals. So when they come, there's no star, there's no act. It's us and you. So I think when you come on their level and you speak to them on that level, and you don't let them have that, have a different expectation, I think then they think, actually, you know what? We could drop the act. Yeah. There's no formalities. I'm your bro.
Yeah. Let's go to LA Pop across the road. Shout out to the Bandels. Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. Across the road.
Yeah.
So again, it's that, isn't it? It's more of that. It's that kind of element where, you know what, let's just keep that where it needs to be, and we're on a different vibe.
Yeah. No, thanks, Tony. I mean, I really appreciate this conversation. It's been we've been trying to do it for a bit of a while now, and to get it to this point. But I think some of the things to take away is like the difficulties of actually saying a lot of things and doing it, and like you're proof, and you're at a stage of where Brit Asia's on the rise. It's stabilized, it's got there, it's moving forward now, and venturing out. And that's no easy task, and there's not many of you kind of people like pushing this forward and moving it together. So thanks for this conversation.
No, you're welcome, Ricky, man. And look, at the end of the day, all I would say just to all your viewers and everyone watching is, keep supporting the Punjabi movement, keep supporting Punjabi music, keep supporting folk music, keep supporting any events that you think you should go, you should attend to. It's really important. Let's keep moving.
Cheers, Tony.
Thanks, Ricky. Thank you.
Cheers.